Thank you so much for coming back and watching another one of my videos. My name is Khandy. This week we are going to be talking about adoption home studies. So to me, this is adoption 101. However, as most of you watching this, you see me in all the adoption groups, and I've seen the question asked numerous times from new hopeful adoptive parents, and the question is usually, what is a home study? What is this that I see home study approved? How do I start? Where do I start? Is a home study as scary as people make it out to be? I'm sorry. I'm dying from allergies right now, and so it's just a lot going on, so bear with me. So what is an adoption home study? And do I really need one? Let's jump right in. As I stated in a previous video that I will link below, our home study was easy peasy. I got the paperwork from the social worker that we use, that was referred to us from the first agency that we used for our daughter's adoption. She was amazing. As soon as she sent us the information that we needed, I started the process probably that day, and it was easy. It was nothing like what people made it seem like it was going to be. It wasn't this daunting, intrusive process, but everyone is different. So let's jump right in. So what is a home study? If we're looking at the actual definition of it, a home study is a screening of your home and life of the prospective adoptive parents prior to allowing the adoption to take place. Now, it consists of information from your present, your past, and your future. They are looking into details of you, your spouse, and your family. They are looking at your education background, your work history, your criminal history, your financial history, so your debt that you have, anything. I mean, go down to your student loans. If you've ever filed for bankruptcy, if your spouse has ever filed for bankruptcy, they want to know that. If you've refinanced your house, they want to know that. If you've had repossessions on cars, they want to know that. When I say they want to know everything, they want to know everything. So they want to know, just like your background, your upbringing with your family, whether that means that you came from a two-parent household, a single-parent household, what that was like, if there was any trauma associated with your upbringing, and then also what are your thoughts on parenting, because that's very important, especially if this is a two-parent household. Not if you're adopting as a single person, but if this is a two-parent household, they kind of want to make sure that you're on the same page with your spouse as far as parenting, discipline, education, religion, all these type of things. So it consists of a lot, and you're usually going to have about 2 to 3 interviews with your social worker prior to the approval of your home study, and then you'll have post-placement visits sometimes. And I say sometimes because if you are adopting out of state and that adoption can be finalized out of states, some places don't require for you to have a post-placement visit because that adoption has already been finalized, and so that's null and void. This video is not about that. So on an average, how long can a home study take? Usually with a private adoption, it can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months. It can be shorter, it can be longer. Ours took less than 3 months. So I think it all depends on the adoption professional that you're working with. It also depends on you. How fast can you get this paperwork done? If you are dragging your feet, it's gonna take a while, because you have to remember, you have to go and get your fingerprints done for SBI background check, FBI background check. If you're one of those people that you have this information but you're doing nothing with it, you have to understand you're mailing these things out to people. Depending on whose desk it falls on, it can be sitting there for weeks without them doing anything. I know people that their home study was dragged out for months and months and months and months with COVID. No one was planning on a pandemic happening. And then with this pandemic happening, so many hopeful adoptive parents have now I'm not going to say they just like popped up, but they have appeared out of like nowhere compared to, I want to say, 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So if this is something that you really want to do, once you get the informational packet from your home study agency, do not drag your feet. Get on it immediately and just follow the steps and instructions that they're going to give you, whether this is a he or she. So like I stated earlier, there are questions that they're going to ask you. Every person is going to ask you different questions. It's going to be pertaining to each family. Okay, so they're not going to necessarily ask myself and Kenny the same questions that they're going to ask with single parent or same sex couple. It's just going to be different. So some of the questions that they might ask is going to be, what are your parenting styles? What's your upbringing? What was your upbringing like? Why do you want to adopt? Because that's an important question. Why do you want to adopt a child? What are the hopes for your child? Any parent would. I mean, it's funny because when she did ask Kenny and I some of these questions, I was a little bit taken aback because these are things that you just don't normally just converse about or think about. But yeah, what are the hopes for your child? She's gonna ask. Well, she asked us about adoption trauma. If you weren't adopting a child, and I think she had posed it to us, any older than 3 months, she said that there could be adoption trauma. Now, do you understand what that is? And do you feel like you're equipped to deal with that? What is your village like? And when she said that, she meant like, what is your support system like? Because it's not going to be easy. So these are just things that when you are having these interviews with these home study agents or home study social workers, you want to make sure that everything that they're giving you, there's a reason behind these questions, and there's a reason behind the series of information that they're giving you. So make sure that you're taking it in, you're absorbing it, you're writing it down, because it's really important. It's really important. And for me to just kind of hone in on that, sometimes I see people and they say that they're not going to start their home study until they're actually matched with somebody. Again, I can say what I want because this is my channel. But it's kind of disrespectful when people say that, because you have hundreds and thousands of us that took the time, took our money, and went ahead and we did it the right way, which is starting our home study and getting home study approved. And then for you to just say, oh, I'm going to wait till I get a match to start my home study. It doesn't work that way, because I don't know if you understand like what a stork drop is, or I don't know if you understand how some expectant moms, they actually don't make an adoption plan until they're in a hospital room. And so you can be in these adoption groups and you create this beautiful profile and you say, oh, we're ready to adopt. If you have a baby and you want to place this baby for adoption, if you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you're ready to give your baby up for adoption, the verbiage is crazy to me. It's so rude. But contact me. This expectant mom might have looked at your Facebook profile and said, oh my gosh, they look so cool. They're so cute. I love their house, whatever. And they'll contact you and say, oh, I'm, about to deliver this baby. Are you still looking to adopt? And you'll say, yes. You're not taking that baby home. You can't legally, because there is a process that you have to go through. There's legalities to this. And one of those things is a home study. You have to be legally approved to bring that child into your home. And without that home study, you cannot do that. This is a huge step that you're skipping in the process. So this is almost like me saying that I wanted to be an RN, but I was just like, I'm just not going to go to nursing school. I'm just going to go ahead and apply for the job and just show up on the first day and just say, hey, I'm a nurse now. It doesn't work like that. There's a reason for these things. So go ahead. If you are really serious about being an adoptive parent, start your home study. And please understand that there are different home studies for different types of adoptions. A home study for a private domestic adoption is different for a home study for a public state adoption. So if you're adopting through foster care, that home study is not going to work. There are two different types of home studies. If you're adopting internationally, a different type of home study. So the first thing you need to figure out is the type of adoption that you want to do, and then start your home study. But you need a home study, okay? A question that we see all the time is, can I fail a home study? The answer to that is most definitely yes, you can fail a home study. Now, that's depending on different things. You can fail due to your criminal background. You can fail to health issues. Unfortunately, you can fail because of family members and their criminal background. Financial difficulties. So if you are living in a house and there is financial strain, there is a massive amount of debt, you can fail, because how they're going to deem that is you are not financially capable of supporting another child, or a child, not to say another because you may not have one, but a child that is not biologically your own. Because if you get pregnant, no one is checking your financial records. But if you want to adopt the legal way, they can disqualify you for that. If you have an unstable or an unsafe home. So one of the things that they do with a home study check is they come out to make sure that your home is safe. It's not as invasive as one that you're doing for a state foster care adoption, but they do come by and they make sure that, your stairs aren't falling apart. Your windows close. I guess you didn't check any of those things with us, but just making sure that the dwelling that you live in, that you reside in, is safe for a child, for a baby to live in. So if they come in and you are a hoarder, or they just see pests and rodents running around, you will fail. Okay. They'll also fail you for dishonesty. So if you are just blatantly lying, and this could be a blatant lie with your name or social security number, to hide a past identity or a criminal background or debt, whatever it is, or a illness, that can definitely fail you and disqualify you, and you're not going to be able to adopt. So be honest when you are filling out the paperwork. And there are always disclosures on it also that tell you that. There are things that can immediately disqualify you. So there's a form that you get, and it's called, I believe, the RIL form. RIL form. When we got the packet from her, she told us immediately this was the first thing that we needed to fill out and send it out. That form went to whomever it went to, and then it got mailed directly back to her. We didn't get that form back. And what that form does is it checks your background for if you've ever been accused of or convicted of any type of child abuse, neglect, or sexual assault. I believe that's what it is. If you come back accused of any of those, you are immediately disqualified. So those type of things. So if you've been accused of child abuse or neglect, domestic battery or spousal abuse, a crime against a child, including pornography, crimes including but not limited to rape, sexual assault, or homicide, you will be immediately disqualified. This can also be not necessarily you, but someone living in your dwelling. So if you have an immediate family member or just a family member or friend that is living in your dwelling and they have been accused or convicted of any of these things, because they're going to ask you for the social security numbers of everybody living in that house, that can immediately disqualify you. So I want to go ahead and tell you, this is going to sound so bad, but shed that dead weight if they are not your spouse or your child right now. Because if growing your family is something that's important to you and you were just taking care of people that are not going to help you fulfill your dreams, get rid of it. So again, another part of the home study is just going to be the home check, and they're just making sure that the home is safe. It has adequate space, okay, so that you're not living in a studio apartment, and it is suitable to raise a child, okay? What's the cost of a home study? So the cost of a home study can range anywhere from $1,200 to $4,000. That all depends on the state. Some states are ridiculous in cost. Now a home study renewal is going to be chump change. And when I say chump change, our home study renewal was $200. So it all depends on what state you're living in, what agency you decide to work with. So all those things kind of vary. But one thing I can do is to tell you, when you're doing this, be honest. Be honest, be honest. But if you have decided that you want to go ahead and adopt, start your home study as soon as possible. I cannot stress that to you enough. I cannot stress it to you enough, because sometimes adoptions move so fast. And again, we don't know what an expectant mom or an expectant dad are looking for. And they might see something in you, and she might be a week away from delivering. And if you don't have your home study completed, that baby's not going to be yours. So that's what I have. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Get your home studies done. Okay, but that's what I have. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Please press that like button if this is your first time watching one of my videos. My name is Khandy. I put out a new informative video every single week. Please go ahead and push that subscribe button, and I will see you again next week. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.